I look back at this moment and I realize how naive I was. I had no clue the experience that was ahead of me. I was finding out too that I was about to fly to Europe on my own because my friends missed their connecting flight.
It was quite an adventure, but I got here, went through customs, got money out of the ATM, ordered an Uber, got to my Airbnb. And the crazy part about this is, and this was not planned by anybody, but this whole area, this whole neighborhood that I'm in, is called Barbosa. Barbosa is my maiden name, and the whole reason I always wanted to come to Spain and Portugal is because that's where my family is from. It's from here, and we just happened to get an Airbnb in the neighborhood named Barbosa. It's crazy that I ended up in this neighborhood. I am starving right now. I am tired, and I'm probably going to go venture out to go get some food on my own. Wish me luck. This is all new to me. I don't even know how to speak Portuguese. The fuck am I doing? But I'm here. So some things that baffled me in Portugal. So I went to a little cafe and I saw their menu and it was in fucking Spanish. So I got intimidated and forgot about Google Translate. So I bought a fucking pizza and let me show you the oven. First, it's like at the bottom, and then second of all, what the fuck does that mean? What does any of that mean? I don't fucking know. It's like IKEA instructions or some shit.
My friends finally made it to Lisbon and we took a train to Porto the next day.
So I made it to Porto in this beautiful hotel, our Airbnb. It happens to be like in the center of town. It is beautiful. It is lots of hills. And unfortunately, my best friend Jeremy has hurt his sciatic nerve, we think, and he had to go to the hospital in Lisbon and get a cortisone injection. He might have to get another one, and he had to get some pain pills. So me and his wife will be starting the walk tomorrow, but he will stay back in the hotel for an extra day. And I don't know if he is going to have to taxi to each point or if he is going to rent a bike and do some of it. Because with the Camino, you also have a budget. And so staying in albergues, hostels, keeps the budget kind of low. And so we're trying to figure out what he can do, but we have to start the walk because his wife has a certain amount of time. He didn't hurt himself when he got here. He hurt himself on the flight over here, just walking back and forth through the airport. With the Camino, there are handicapped people that do it. There are elderly people. There are people that push people on wheelchairs. So just because he's injured doesn't mean that he can't join in at some point. This is day one of the Camino. We are getting up very early. It's like 6 something here. And to be honest, to be surprising for me is last night I could not sleep. I didn't go to bed until 1. I tried everything and I got really emotional. I think that one of the luxuries in life that I love is a shower and a warm bed, which I will have, but I'm not going to know where I land. And I realized how important that was for me. And so last night I got really emotional about how I can't go home and how far I am away from my home and how much I just want to cuddle with my baby and my doggy and my husband. And that was pretty surprising because for the last year I was like, I cannot wait until I have a break. And now I have a break and it's been 3 days and I miss them very much. And how much my little world is such a security for me. And especially being so far away. You know, I'm like, God, I'm so far away from home. I'm so far away from my regular life, but that's what I wanted. And now that it's here, it makes me sad that I'm so far. So I've already learned that. I kept telling people, I hope that I miss them. And I do. I miss them a lot. But I'm not really afraid of walking the distance that we're walking even today. I think we might only walk like 7 miles. I'm more I really like to come home. I really like to go somewhere where I'm like, oh, there's going to be a clean shower to bed. And you know, I don't know where I'm going to end up. So I think at the end of this, though, I'll get used to it. But yeah, that's my first report. Wish me luck.
That morning was the very first time I ever put water in my backpack. I realized then that it was over 20 pounds, which made it really hard on my body. Also, in Portugal, protesters started fires, which made it even more difficult to breathe and walk.
Hold on.
This is video from the second day of walking. On the first day, my watch said I walked 18 miles. I'm not sure if that's true, but I know at least it was 15 miles, and that was more than I probably should have now thinking back. I wanted to use this trip to practice staying very present and enjoying my surroundings. But unfortunately, since I walked so much the first day, my body was hurting so bad, which caused my mind to go into repetitive negative talk. But I was still enjoying myself. These little towns were super cute. Ladies, prepare yourself. Along the Camino, a lot of the restrooms that you come across will either not have a lock for the door, not have a toilet seat, or not have toilet paper. Always bring toilet paper. You'll never know when you'll need it. I think now looking back, my favorite part of the trip was the Portuguese portion. Now be prepared if you ever walk the Camino, the coastal way. Portugal has nothing but cobblestones, and I didn't prepare for that. So my feet and my legs were hurting. I highly suggest getting walking sticks.
So today is day 2. I think I've walked maybe 13 miles today. I don't know. And yesterday I did 18 miles. And I will admit, I have already cried like 3 times and thought to myself, what the hell did I get myself into? This is like brutal. Everything in my body hurts. I keep reminding myself, I'm not my body, I'm not my body. I can do this. But what I'm realizing right now is that this is my journey and that I need to stop when I want to stop. Because for the last 2 days, I've just been like, I want this to be over with. Hurry up, I want this to be over with. And I waited so long to even get here, and that's not the point of this. But since I have been walking so long and my body's been in so much pain that I'm not even being able to enjoy the little towns that I'm walking through because I'm so focused on this body.
This is the first night that we slept in a albergue. An albergue is a hostel. We were also able to reunite with my best friend. I was surprised that a lot of the Portuguese coastal route actually has these pathways that look like secret gardens. You'll also go through mountains and forest areas. It's very beautiful, but most of the research I did showed a boardwalk. So I didn't have walking sticks at this time. It would have been very helpful. We did run into this old couple that had to end up on the coastal route because of the fires in Portugal. It forced everybody from the central route onto the coastal route, so she was having difficulties getting off this mountain. But my best friend's wife was really helpful. I basically just held the walking sticks. There was beautiful scenery. I highly recommend this path. Just be prepared to walk along mountains and forests. This is the church sanctuary, the Sacred Heart of Jesus. This church had an elevator that would take you up to the top of the church, and then you would climb this small little staircase, which made me very claustrophobic, but it was worth this view. This was probably one of my favorite days. I mean, the beginning of the day was always my favorite. Portugal in general was my favorite. I really regret not spending more time in these little towns in Portugal. If I ever went back, I would spend more time exploring each town. These towns reminded me of a romance movie. Even though I had all this beauty around me, it was still hard to stay present because my body was still hurting so much. This is the beginning of day 4. I decided that I was going to take a train with my best friend because I really needed a rest day. So you have to take a little boat from the end of Portugal into Spain. And this is where shit got real for me. Once we got to Spain and tried to order an Uber up to our hotel, we realized there was no Ubers, which meant if I needed to stop walking, I didn't know how I was going to be able to do that. Since there were no Ubers, we got to climb this 1,000-foot incline. It took us about 2 hours. I was forcing myself to stop and look around and enjoy the moment. It was starting to be hard to be grateful because I was so exhausted. So today is our first official rest day. Yesterday was supposed to be a rest day, but we missed our shuttle to our hotel because it's at the top of a mountain. We had to end up walking all the way up this mountain, which is a beautiful view.
So over there is Portugal, and you take a taxi boat across and you come over to Spain. Now, something that I was unaware of is that Spain does not have Ubers. They have taxis, and you have to be able to tell the taxi where you're at. So in Portugal, there was Ubers everywhere. And so once we got here, we were late. And so we had to truck up the mountain. And tomorrow is Sunday, and we did not realize that on Sundays, everything closes. There is barely anything open. So we're trying to figure out a grocery situation, how we're going to get groceries. We will not have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So we're hoping to take a lot from the breakfast that we buy at the hotel. And my best friend, his first official day will be tomorrow, and it will be 12 miles. So we're hoping that he can make that 12 miles, because otherwise there's no way that we can call an Uber or a taxis, because taxis won't be open either. And so this is kind of the challenge of the Camino, is kind of going with the flow and trying to figure it out as we go. So right now, my best friend and his wife are at the hotel restaurant, and they're going to buy a bunch of basically sausage, and it's like a egg potato bread, and we're just going to take it with us. And that's all we know to do. That's our solution, and we're just hoping that my best friend can make the trip. It's hard for me. 12 miles is a lot for me. But yesterday I took the train and then met my best friend's wife at the boat taxi place, because I just needed to rest, because I need, part of my lesson here is to listen to my body. And it's been a lot. Like, in my mind today, I have thought, like, being this far from my family for this long is probably not ideal. I've never done this before. I've never been away from my son for that long. What makes me emotional? It's just a lot to, like, not be close to your home and your family. But I've learned a lot. Like, it's probably something I wouldn't want to embark on again. Who knows? At the end of it, I might say that I want to. I was so excited at the beginning to, like, take a break from life, but it didn't take long for me to really miss my old life. Which, it won't be that long before I'll be back. I'll be back before I know it, but it has taught me a lot of lessons, and I don't feel like I prepared my body well enough. I did several 10 to 15 mile walks, but I didn't do a lot back to back. I did some weight training. I would say that you really have to train. I was told by one pilgrim, this was her third pilgrimage, that this is the easier one, and it seems pretty hard to me. It's that walking back to back to back. And so I wish I would have done a lot more weight training, which I, on a normal basis, do 2 days of weight training at least. And I usually get 10,000 steps a day, which is about 5 miles a day, but that's not enough. And just the mental load. And tomorrow, not only will there be no grocery stores, there'll be no restaurants, there'll be no bathrooms open. So that is something that we did not think about. So if you ever do the Camino, your rest days should be on Sundays, because nothing will be open. And so you have to be prepared for all of that. But I'm learning a lot about myself that I didn't think I'd learn. And I also have this, like, recurring thought that, like, I'm behind. I'm slow. Like, my best friend's wife is a beast. She can just, like, go so fast, and she's always waiting on me. And so even, like, when I do pop on social media and I see people doing things, their business, that thought of, like, I'm constantly behind. I've been hustling. I've been trying my hardest, and it's not working. It keeps coming up, and it's still coming up on the Camino. So it's teaching me a lot. Like, am I behind? I'm on the fucking Camino. Most people have never done this before. So I'm trying to kind of work through all of those emotions.
I was excited because this was the first actual day that I got to walk with my best friend on the Camino. It's interesting because in a meditation, I saw a white horse just like this one, which represents freedom, victory, and purity. And I definitely think this trip changed me in those ways.
This day is actually a bit easier. Probably because I had 2 days to rest. I don't feel fucking miserable. And I'm not questioning my decisions like every other fucking day.
5 hours later.
Of day 6 or some shit like that, and I am definitely breaking down. It's like the start of the day, I'll be good, things will hurt, and then by the end of the day, like, I cannot emotionally or physically do anything. I have the worst headache. I can't stop crying. And I don't want to give up. I don't know how I feel now. I don't know if I regret it. I don't know what. I just know that the Camino has fucking horrible beds. And walking 14 miles with a 20-pound backpack is not fucking ideal. Day after day after day. And I've been through some pretty fucking hard shit in my life. And this is way the fuck up there. There's moments where I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful. And there's moments where I'm like, fuck all of this.
After that rough night, I needed a day like this one. This was my favorite day on the Camino. I only walked about 9 or 10 miles. I was able to have a conversation while walking with my best friend, and I got back to my albergue in enough time to shower, take a nap, and rest. If every day was only 10 miles, I think I would have enjoyed the Camino a bit more. I'm starting to notice at this point that I'm not feeling very well. I feel like I have allergies, and it's starting to slow me down. I feel weaker.
So some of the challenges that have come up, well, in general in life, like, I feel like I'm constantly trying to hurry up and get somewhere, and I thought that the Camino would give me the opposite of that, where I could just walk and not hurry and enjoy the surrounding, and that has not been the case. I feel like I'm constantly having to hurry up to get to the next spot, to get to the next spot, to the next spot, and your body is completely worn out. And I've also realized how bougie I am. I'm very, very bougie. I like nice beds and big showers and, you know, a comfortable place, a safe place to lay my head. I also don't feel comfortable, but I don't feel comfortable walking alone in the woods by myself, but that's the position I'm in a country where I don't know anybody. But I'm also trying to remind myself that to see the beauty around me, because maybe that's the lesson I need to learn, is just to rely on myself.
After that day, I walked one more day and I decided I needed a break. I had a lot of shame about how naive and codependent I was on other people, and I just needed to rest. This was a moment that I broke down in front of everyone because I was so
I decided
homesick.
to take a bus
to the end of the Camino to whatever this place is called. And I'm at a hostel now. Huge decision for me to take a bus. Not because I cared about finishing the Camino, because this was never about walking a certain amount of miles. It was more about like discovering Spain through walking. I have to say that I have had some amazing stories of, they say the Camino provides, and I think that that is very, very true. And I also think that God provides. I let go of the expectation that I was going to stroll through towns in Spain and discover them with my best friend, because that wasn't it. I was hiking up mountains primarily by myself. And so I let go of that expectation and decided to take a train, which is a whole nother thing, because I was so nervous. My nervous system has been in fight, flight, freeze, mostly freeze, because all I do is like, I can't move and I just keep crying. I don't know what to do. But I've had somebody help me no matter where I've gone. There was the angel lady on the mountain when I got lost, and she would not leave my side until I called a cab and got to my albergue. There was a girl named Cassandra that walked me to the train yesterday and walked me into the train station to the actual train, what train I needed to be in, and showed me everything, which I prayed for all of these things. Then I realized yesterday when I got to Santiago that I had booked an albergue, but they were for the wrong dates, and there was nothing really available that was very close by that wasn't like over $100 a night. And so when I got off the train, my nervous system went into full overload again. I was just like trying to calm myself down and to try to find somewhere that I could stay. Everything was so booked and so expensive. And so I thought I had it all figured out when I got here, and I did not. I did end up being able to stay at this one albergue, which there was people in line until 11 o'clock at night. There was nowhere to stay in Santiago. Like, there was a likelihood that there was a lot of people sleeping in the parks and streets, and I'm so fucking thankful. I just kept saying, calm down, Jacqueline, get it together. You're gonna find somewhere, and it's not gonna be far, because I kept looking at places and they were just so far away, and I was like, I can't walk that far away and then be able to get back to where I need to get to and feel secure about it. I ended up in a room with a good friend, I could say now. His name was Jose, and he was from Austin. We sat down, first people, and I mean, my room wasn't ready for another 2 hours after check-in, but I was okay because I had a room. And we get into the room, and he's like, I'm from Austin. And I was like, and I kept missing home so much. So it was so nice to have a roomie that I could talk to about our city and different places in our city. And then I got two other roomies that were also from the United States, and they were from, I think, North or South Carolina. Super cool. Seemed like they were from Asheville, so wherever that is. So they're very much like Austin people. And then there was 4 other people, but they came so late at night that I have no clue. They're probably still. No, I wanted to come here to Spain because this is where my family's from, and this is like the home that my family started in. But it's not my home. My home is the United States. My home is Austin, Texas, and it's made me have so much appreciation for, not that Spain isn't beautiful. Spain is great. The people are great. It has provided for me. They have been sweet. They have been kind. And I'm all about getting out of your comfort zone. But now I know getting out of your comfort zone really needs to be step by step by step. Something like this, I think I would have been better at more of a tour situation. I'm spoiled. A tour situation where somebody was in charge and I could depend on talking to them in English. Even if you don't fucking end the Camino and get your certificate and your piece of paper. And I can still technically go down and get my certificate. I walked enough fucking miles that I can do it. But I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. It never did matter to me. It wasn't about getting a piece of paper shit. I didn't even know what it was about. It was about learning whatever I needed to learn. I just didn't know that my nervous system would be so activated. And so part of this whole thing was about my coaching and what I would learn from it and what I would take away from it. And one is that you can't think your way through these things. You have to like be empathetic. You have to be in the emotion that you're in and process that emotion, and all that's okay. It's not about pushing through in life. I've done that all my life. It's just push, keep going.
and do this for everybody else. And that's not what I want to teach anybody. Don't fucking push through. If you're in emotion, if you're in anger, if you're in sadness, if you're in panic, whatever it is, it's okay to be in that emotion, and you need to be able to process that. But just to push through is not healthy, because that's what I did all of my fucking life, and that's what kept me in a deep depression, and that's what I felt like I was doing on those mountains. I was pushing for somebody else, not for me. I didn't want to be doing it. I didn't want to be on that mountain, but I also didn't want to be separated from my friends. So it was this push and pull here. Do I just keep pushing forward because I don't want to be separated from them? Or do I separate myself from them and try to calm myself down? I don't think I have been able to calm myself very much. But I made that decision, and I'm just praying that I get on that bus. We get on that bus and we get back to Porto or wherever we're going, and eventually I get on a plane and I get home and I get to fucking cuddle my son and hug my husband and kiss the ground of my house because I appreciate it so much. That's my takeaway so far.
Sitting in that albergue for 3 days gave me a lot of time to reflect. I had a lot of shame around not being prepared for this trip, being codependent on my friends, being codependent on my husband back home, being naive and not prepared enough to be on my own on this trip. The Camino did teach me a lot about myself and the negative beliefs I have about who I am and my capabilities. That was a lot to deal with on my own. The Camino provided the perfect circumstances for me to see the negative unconscious beliefs about myself, others, and the world. So it gives me the opportunity to clear them up.
And this is day 3 of being in a hostel in Santiago. Yesterday, I made it down to the cathedral, which was beautiful, very anticlimactic. It was a beautiful church. I didn't go inside because you had to buy a ticket. But I think most of the time, the thing I've been doing the most on this trip is fucking crying. About probably a week in, I was like over it. And I just wanted to go home. And with all that being said, I have learned a lot about myself. The one thing that I have said in different parts of this video is how much I appreciate things. I left home really wanting people to notice my absence and notice what I provide for them, and be more appreciative of me. And quite the opposite has happened. I've realized with my husband that he provides a lot of safety for me. I've been with my husband since I was 19, and it's been since I was probably 20 that I've been away from my husband for this long. He just provides a lot of things that were unseen by myself. And I realized how much I appreciate him and how much I appreciate what he does. It's not that he doesn't still get on my nerves, but I appreciate him so much. I appreciate my son so much. I appreciate his physical touch, his hugs, his love, his constant, I love you, Mom. I haven't had, well, the other day I was sitting down and I was eating breakfast here at this hostel. It is a big group hostel, meaning there could be hundreds of people that stay here. And so I'm sitting there by myself and I'm eating breakfast, and I just start thinking about Jackson, and I just start crying. Nobody's around me. I mean, people are doing their own shit, and I'm trying my best to keep it together. And a woman hugs me,
she comes up to me and says, I've said it in another part of the video, but she comes and says to me, are you okay? Do you need a hug? And I did. And I realized I haven't had like a hug in weeks. Physical touch. Like, I didn't even realize how much physical touch I get from my dog and my son and my husband and just my friends. Also, like, positive reinforcement from people. Appreciation from people I get on a constant basis. And I didn't realize that. And now that I'm in this hostel by myself, I feel very lonely. And I keep picturing, like, all of the things I'm going to do when I get back home. I don't know if it's helpful. I'm trying to picture, like, the rest of the time that I'm here. I think I have, like, another 9 days or so. But I'm trying to picture, like, doing fun activities here. But there's this thing in my body. It's my nervous system. I have a lot of negative thoughts that have been coming up about me being codependent on other people, me not feeling confident, especially when I'm away from, the things that make me safe. A lot of insecurities, mostly appreciation. I've said that over and over and over again. I appreciate things I did not appreciate before. And there was such a big life I was calling in, right? But I wasn't appreciating anything that I already had. And how can I get more if I don't appreciate what I already have? I deeply appreciate what I have. And this trip has shown me those blind spots. 1,000% has shown me those blind spots, that I did not appreciate things. And God, do I appreciate them now. And I was very unaware that I did not appreciate the little things.
We are now headed back on the bus to Porto, closer and closer to the end of this trip.
Back in Portugal, I am nearing the end of my trip. I have 5 more days. I can't wait to go home. I feel a lot safer in Portugal. It's the land of the Ubers. So it's easier to get around, easier to communicate. I don't know, my nervous system feels a little bit better. Definitely interesting traveling with people for this long of a time. I feel like I'm up in spirits because I'm getting closer to leaving, and a little bit, like I want to talk more. I like to talk, and I think my friends seem a little bit more tired and don't want to talk as much. I mean, we've been around each other for a month. What do they want to talk about, right? I actually feel, as of now, more insecure about everything, really. I don't know if I have to like integrate these lessons in, but I feel more insecure about all of my relationships. I feel more insecure about like my finances and the future, which I didn't think that much about. I don't know if it's because everything was like perceived to be taken away, like communication, security with being around my friends, all the little luxuries in life. Like, I don't know, because that was perceived to be taken away, that now I'm really insecure that it will be taken away again as I get back home. Like, for some reason my mind wants to get all my ducks in a row. Like, I want to make sure that I have all the paperwork for, like, if something happens to my husband together, I need to like put everything in a trust. And like the insecurity of being alone again. But again, this is just right off the the tail of this trip, but I feel very insecure about the future. Some people feel very strong. I finished the Camino my way. I didn't go get the certificate. I come to find out that it's, if you would walk the Camino, all of your sins are forgiven. Well, I don't even believe in sins. So I was like, what the fuck? I've been walking this, and that's the purpose of this? Like, do your research. But I completed it. I went to the end. I walked over 100 miles, but I don't feel stronger. I don't feel more confident. And anybody that's watching this may see me differently. I don't know how people perceive me, but as of now, I feel insecure and I feel less confident. I do feel safe here. I don't know. Maybe in a month from now, I'll be like, bitch, I walked over 100 miles. I can do anything. I don't know. But for me, all the things that were buried in my shadows, meaning buried in that subconscious mind, definitely came up. And I guess the purpose is to work on them, to become more secure, to become more confident. Maybe it was a persona. Or maybe my ego mind is really taking over, because logically I know I'm whole and complete and I'm just a thought in Christ's mind or God's mind, and nothing can ever destroy that, right? Your energy. That's logically. Internally, I think having so many lessons being thrown at me at such a short period of time, I feel like it has torn me down a bit. But that's okay. We will see how this ends up. And I feel now that I'm safe, my ego mind wants to come back online and judge and talk shit. Like, this ego mind of mine, and it's not me, it's the program, is strong. That bitch is strong. She pisses me off. It's literally like two minds of like constantly fear, talking shit, judging, and the other one telling this one to shut the fuck up. Anyways, what a face.
This is the spot where they believed the end of the world was. What a representation of the end of my old world. This is the last night in Lisbon. I listen to the beautiful rain as I think how this trip taught me the ultimate lesson of faith and surrender.
If you followed along this far, I want to thank you for all your support, for watching to the end. The Camino, now that I've been back, this video is recorded about a week and a half after I got back. And now that I'm back, there's like so much insight to look at. It's definitely weird to be back to me, because I've experienced for 3 weeks of my life, 24 days of my life, I've experienced a different type of lifestyle, a different country, being by myself, not being prepared like I should have been, being very naive, seeing a lot of codependency that I had on other people, that I have on my family. I have a lot of wounds of feeling like I can't do things on my own, and that came to the forefront. Even though I did figure it out on my own, I think it's very challenging for me. Maybe other people are different, but to put my body under all of that stress and trying to get my negative thoughts to shut up was so challenging for me. And I felt like it was less challenging for other people, and I think those people are rock stars. But it did show me some of, I want to quote unquote, my weakness. And I now can come home and really appreciate my home, really appreciate this luxury lifestyle that I live. I wanted that the most. I wanted my family to appreciate me. I wanted people to appreciate me. And I didn't fully appreciate the life that I had. And all of those things got taken away. Like a comfortable bed, a comfortable shower, my husband to lean on, hugs from, my family and my husband, and just connection that I could just talk to my friends, and all of those things. I was just left with me, and that's a hard thing to look at. And me, since that version, that identity of me was under so much pressure, it was so negative. And that is those negative thoughts, negative talking, gossip. Like, I'm really trying to get away from those things, and so it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know what to do with it. And that was me. I was negative. I was so, if the people that I was around thought I was negative externally, you don't even have a clue what was going internally. Like, it was catastrophic thinking. And now I have that experience on a different level of so many different things, that people go through. And I can have empathy for those situations that people go through. Like, physical pain doesn't help you think logically. I'm over on this side, and I think to myself now, why didn't I do this, or why didn't I do that? Like, because I wasn't thinking logically. I wasn't there. Positive, happy-go-lucky Jacqueline that has everything under control had left the building, and I don't know when she was coming back, when she could control more shit. And so it just showed me a lot of things that I have to work on. And that was the point of this too. I really, 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 really appreciate all of y'all as well. Anybody over the years that have supported me in any way, watching my videos, liking my videos, coming to my workshop, telling people about me, working one-on-one with me. Like, I appreciate that so much. Like, it makes me continue to push myself. Very naively, like, for real. Like, I was very naive going into this situation, and if I could do it again, I wouldn't change anything because I wouldn't have the insight that I have. But, like, if I had a second chance, I would do it differently because I would have enjoyed it more. And but maybe this trip wasn't about enjoying it. It was about, enduring it and really taking those insights into this world so that I can teach you. Because if I enjoyed it so much, like, what, that doesn't give me a ton of lessons. I enjoy my life. This mundane life is so good. It is so good, and I'm so appreciative of it and y'all. Thank you so much.